why someone who would embody the Beatitudes could be persecuted if they were like the prophets of like the Old Testament. Sometimes what they said completely undermined the popular culture and the religious people. And they weren't afraid to ask the hard questions. But they were mournful because they saw injustice, and they hungered for righteousness, and they were merciful in their actions, and they were pure in heart, and they sought peace for their people. So I feel like those are good examples of what the Beatitudes talk about. So, I don't know, to me it makes sense that people who are in the popular culture would be naturally offended by people who embody this. And then I would also move to say, I mean, we don't live in a country, for example, like China, where Christians are persecuted because of from people outside their church, because they do stand for something that's against the popular Chinese culture, and so it would make sense that the persecution would come from the government and other places. But for us in the United States, I would just venture to say that the persecution that we may experience may not necessarily come from outside the church. But I would say that in the United States, we're more likely to experience persecution from within the church. And maybe from the most religious people within the church, the most religious people. Because if we were to truly be seeking God's will for the church and calling church out on ways that we are not living up to his standards, or that we are not seeking the best for the poor or the oppressed, that there would be a lot of backlash from within the church. And so I think that could be challenging for us, but in a way encouraging. That, yeah, we shouldn't seek out persecution from people, but living, fully according to God's standard is offensive. And if we offend people, then that's okay. It says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account." And it says, "Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you." So, I think that's all I had. Do you guys have any other comments or thoughts about this?
Interesting.
Interesting.
I gotta say that for a fact. Because I did not expect the part that you told me when they be prosecuted from Christians in China. I did not know that. From Chinese government, and over here you be prosecuted from the church within. I didn't really see it like that. I thought the opposite.
Yeah.
But you actually did make a point. Thank you for that. It just made me think.
Yeah. I think that's interesting to walk that balance between wanting to call the church to a higher standard, but it's because we love God's people. It's because we love the church. And the whole church, not just our church, but the body of Christ, which is all churches. So. Yeah. That's it. Unless you guys have anything else.